To most of us, he's Troy Landry, the fearless king of the swamp. For over a decade, we've watched him on Swamp People, a guy who seems to embody the raw, untamed spirit of the Louisiana bayou. We've seen him wrestle with massive, prehistoric gators, steer his boat through treacherous waters, and carry on a family legacy that's as deep and mysterious as the Atchafalaya Basin itself. His huge personality, that iconic striped shirt, and his famous catchphrase, "Chit-em," have made him a beloved American icon, a symbol of Cajun resilience and strength. But his toughest fight isn't happening in the swamp. Away from the cameras and the thrill of the hunt, Troy is facing a string of heartbreaking challenges that would test anyone's resolve. It's a story of quiet battles, public criticism, and private pain that reveals the real man behind the legend. A secret health crisis that hit his family, a shocking run-in with the law that threatened his reputation, and a personal battle with cancer that he fought in silence. This is the untold story of the struggles Troy Landry faces when the gator season ends and the cameras stop rolling. The truth of what the king of the swamp has been enduring is more complex and heart-wrenching than any gator hunt ever captured on film. Long before his more recent troubles made headlines, Troy Landry was fighting a life-or-death battle completely in private. In mid-2022, rumors started swirling online about his health. Fans were getting concerned about his reduced screen time and just had a feeling that something was wrong. The speculation got so intense that false reports of his death began to circulate, causing a wave of alarm and grief among his followers. It got so bad that his son, Jacob Landry, had to step in and publicly address the rumors, reassuring a worried fanbase that his father was still alive but confirming he was, in fact, facing a serious health crisis. Then, the devastating truth was revealed: Troy Landry had been diagnosed with prostate cancer. In a candid and characteristically blunt social media post on June 1, 2022, Troy himself broke the silence after a major surgery. He wrote, "Surgery went good. No more prostate. It was ate up with cancer." For many fans, this was the first they'd heard of his diagnosis. It was a shocking revelation that the seemingly invincible hunter had been quietly fighting for his life. He praised his medical team, led by a Dr. Alexander, and shared his hope to return home soon, with his focus already on the future. "Got to recover before gator season gets here," he declared, a statement that was pure Troy. The diagnosis sent shockwaves through the Swamp People community. The man who stares down 12-foot predators without flinching was now facing an invisible enemy that threatened everything. But in true Landry fashion, he took on his recovery with the same grit and determination he brings to every gator season. Jacob provided updates, telling fans his dad was getting better and better each day and that the lab work looked good, with doctors believing they had gotten all the cancer. The outpouring of support was incredible. Fans from all over the world flooded social media with prayers, well wishes, and their own stories of battling cancer, creating a powerful sense of solidarity. They saw in Troy not just a TV star, but a man facing a deeply human struggle with courage and honesty. His fight wasn't just about a disease, it was about resilience. Just weeks after his major surgery, he was already spotted on his land, spending time with his grandkids and getting ready for the upcoming hunting season, a testament to his incredible will to get back to the life he loves. By early 2023, Troy had made a remarkable recovery, returning to film the 14th season of Swamp People. His appearance in the season premiere, titled Gator War, was his official return, signaling to everyone that the king of the swamp was back. He had faced one of the toughest fights of his life, not in the bayou, but in a hospital room, and had come out victorious, ready to reclaim his throne. His battle, fought mostly in private, only added another layer to his legendary status, proving his strength wasn't just physical, but deeply spiritual. Just as he was getting back on his feet, another storm started brewing, one that would challenge his reputation as a hunter. In September 2024, an anonymous tip to the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, LDWF, kicked off a secret sting operation with Troy Landry right in the middle of it. The caller reported that someone was setting illegal gator lines in Lake Pallord, an area where the hunter allegedly didn't have the right permits. For 6 hours, wildlife agents watched from a hidden location. They spotted a boat that matched the description from the tip, with lines marked by distinctive white flagging. The man they saw tending to those lines was none other than the king of the swamp himself. When the agents approached the boat, they found Troy, another person, and an unidentified cameraman on board, suggesting the whole thing might have been filmed for the show. The situation unraveled from there. While it turned out Landry did have permission from the landowner to hunt on the property, the real issue came down to the tags. In Louisiana, gator hunting is strictly regulated. Each hunter gets property-specific tags that have to be attached to the gator as soon as it's harvested. The agents checked the gators on Troy's boat and confirmed the tags he used were not the ones assigned for that specific property according to the official report. When confronted, Landry admitted to something else. He told the agents that before they showed up, he had cut a dead, stiff alligator loose from one of his lines and let it float away. Agents later found the carcass in the lake, and damningly, it still had the same type of line hanging from its mouth as the rest of Troy's lines, tying it directly to him. The fallout was immediate. Troy Landry was issued 2 citations, one for failing to properly tag an alligator and another for letting the dead gator go. The improperly tagged alligator was confiscated by the authorities. The news spread like wildfire. It was a shocking look for a man whose entire career was built on his mastery and respect for the laws of the swamp. The guy who taught a generation of hunters the right way to do things was now accused of breaking the rules. The potential penalties were serious, with each violation carrying a maximum fine of up to $950 and a potential jail sentence of up to 120 days. When a local news station asked him for a comment, Troy was dismissive, saying he had nothing to say and adding, "I got a speeding ticket also last month, but I have nothing to say about it." His daughter-in-law, Lindsay Landry, also downplayed it, telling a reporter, "It was just a ticket. Nothing happened." I don't know why everyone blew it out of proportion. Despite the family's attempt to frame it as a minor issue, the incident cast a shadow. For fans, it was tough to square the image of the legendary hunter with the man facing charges from a sting operation. However, in the months that followed, the legal buzz seemed to die down. Troy was back on social media, posting about filming for the 16th season of Swamp People, which premiered in early 2025. His quick return suggested that he, and the network, saw it as a manageable setback, a bump in the road, not a career-ender. In early 2025, while filming his spin-off series, Swamp Mysteries with Troy Landry, Troy stumbled onto something that had nothing to do with gators but was far more profound. On the show, he often investigates local legends and historical puzzles hidden in the bayou. On this trip, he and fellow Swamp People star Pickle Wheat were searching for evidence of a lost Native American civilization deep in the wetlands. What they found instead was one of the most unexpected and emotional moments ever filmed for the series. Just inches beneath the soft mud, they uncovered human remains. The discovery was chilling. It started with a jawbone, amazingly preserved with pearly white teeth still intact. Troy was visibly stunned, backing up and muttering, "This blows my mind." As Pickle held the jawbone, she described the strange feeling that came over them. "It's a pretty eerie feeling that seeps in your bones when you have a person's jawbone in your hand," she said. "You want to kinda put it down and back up a little bit. There's a thick feeling in the air now, all of a sudden." They kept searching and unearthed more, fragments of a skull, a shoulder blade, and parts of a leg. This wasn't just a shocking discovery, it was scientifically significant. The acidic, oxygen-poor environment of the swamps is notoriously harsh on organic material. Normally, bones would have disintegrated long ago. The fact that these remains were so well preserved was exceptionally rare, surprising even the archaeologists who were brought to the site. Initial expert analysis suggested the bones were likely thousands of years old. This find could potentially rewrite parts of the historical record, offering new clues about the burial practices and lives of the region's earliest inhabitants. The hunt for a lost civilization had led them to a direct, tangible link to the ancient people who walked these lands millennia ago. For Troy, a man whose life is so tied to the swamp, the experience was deeply personal. He spent his entire life on these waters, understanding their rhythms and respecting their power. But this discovery brought a new level of reverence. It was a stark reminder that the swamp holds more than just gators and cypress trees, it holds the silent, buried history of generations. The ground beneath his feet wasn't just mud and water, but a sacred place. A final resting place for souls from a distant past. The episode, titled Buried Secrets, captured a different side of the king of the swamp. The bravado and thrill of the hunt were replaced by a quiet, somber respect. He was visibly shaken by the find, and the moment turned a regular filming day into a poignant and unforgettable encounter with history. It was a discovery that proved the deepest secrets of the bayou are not always the ones that bite back. Of all the battles Troy Landry has faced, none has been more personal or heartbreaking than the one being fought by the youngest member of his family, his infant grandson, Crew. Born to Troy's stepson Brandon and his wife Shelley, baby Crew came into the world with his life already on the line. In early 2025, Troy and his family decided to go public with Crew's health struggles. In a heartfelt social media post, Troy shared the devastating news with his millions of fans. He wrote, "With respect to my son Brandon and his family, we haven't made it very public with what's going on with his little baby boy Crew's health. But they have decided it's time to share his story to help raise awareness that organ donors are true heroes." The family revealed that Crew was born with biliary atresia, a rare and life-threatening liver disease that affects newborns. The condition means the bile ducts in the liver are blocked or missing, causing bile to back up and poison the liver. This leads to scarring and, eventually, liver failure. Biliary atresia is a cruel disease, affecting roughly 1 in every 10,000 to 15,000 infants. Crew had a corrective surgery known as the Kasai procedure, which can sometimes restore bile flow and buy more time. Tragically, for Crew, the procedure didn't work. His condition got worse, progressing to end-stage liver disease. At just a few months old, his only chance for survival was a liver transplant, and so, the waiting began. By March 2025, Crew had been on the transplant list for 2 agonizing months. The family's life became a painful cycle of hope and fear, waiting for the call that a donor organ was available. Troy shared a video of his grandson on Facebook with the caption, "Poor baby been on the transplant list for 2 months now," followed by prayer emojis. In the comments, he added, "He has his pawpaw's heart," showing the deep love he felt for the little boy. The family's journey has been an emotional roller coaster. In February 2025, they got the call they'd been praying for: a potential liver had been found. They rushed to the hospital, full of hope, only to be told that the donor liver wasn't a perfect size match, and the transplant couldn't happen. It was a devastating blow that sent them right back to the agonizing wait. As of March 2025, updates indicated that Crew's PELD score, a system that prioritizes children for transplants based on their risk, had increased, moving him higher up the donor list. The Landry family has been incredibly open about the huge emotional and financial toll of Crew's illness. They've stressed that a liver transplant isn't a cure, but a lifelong treatment that will require constant medical care. To help with the overwhelming costs, they partnered with the Children's Organ Transplant Association, COTA, launching a fundraiser to support Crew's journey. For Troy, the family patriarch known for his toughness, this battle has been a test of a completely different kind of strength. He has used his massive platform not for himself, but to become a fierce advocate for organ donation. He calls donors true heroes and constantly urges his followers to consider registering, knowing one decision could save a child like his grandson. Fans have watched the King of the Swamp show his most vulnerable side, that of a loving grandfather desperate to see his grandson grow up healthy. Behind the scenes of every gator hunt, his heart remains with baby Crew, as the entire Landry family prays for a miracle. Through every trial, the cancer diagnosis, the legal trouble, the ancient discovery, and the agonizing wait for a transplant, the one constant has been the resilience of Troy Landry and his family. We all have this image of Troy as the lone, fearless hunter, but the true source of his strength has always been the deep family roots that define the Landry clan. This series of crises has put those bonds to the ultimate test, and every single time, they've held strong. After his prostate cancer surgery, it was his wife, Bernita, and his sons, Jacob and Chase, who rallied around him. Jacob became the family's spokesperson, keeping fans updated and shielding his father from online speculation. This unity let Troy focus on what he needed to do: heal and get back to the swamp. His drive to be ready for the next Gator season wasn't just about a job. It was about proving to his family, and to himself, that he wouldn't be defeated when the legal troubles hit. The family again showed a united front. Their public comments were brief, but they were designed to project calm and control, framing it as a small issue that had been blown out of proportion. Behind the scenes, that solidarity was surely the anchor Troy needed to handle the public scrutiny and keep working without letting the pressure get to him. But if you really want to see the Landry spirit in action, look no further than their fight for baby Crew. This isn't just one family's private struggle, it's become a public crusade fueled by a grandfather's love. Troy has turned his fame into a powerful force for good, shining a spotlight on the desperate need for pediatric organ donation. The entire family has mobilized, sharing updates, raising funds, and giving an honest look into the reality of loving a child with a life-threatening illness. They've turned their private pain into a public call to action. In return, fans have become an extended part of the Landry support system, flooding their social media with prayers, hope, and donations. They see a family that, despite facing unimaginable stress, continues to stand together and fight with everything they have. Troy keeps sharing sweet moments, like a video of Crew laughing, showing the world that even in the darkest times, love and hope are what matter most. The King of the Swamp's legacy may have been built on his skill as a hunter, but it's being cemented by his strength as a man, a father, and a grandfather. He's teaching his grandsons the traditions of the bayou, but he's also teaching all of us a more important lesson: how to face adversity with courage, unity, and an unbreakable spirit. The life of Troy Landry has turned out to be as complex and unpredictable as the swamp he calls home. The man we see on TV, the undisputed king of the swamp, is only one part of the story. Away from the cameras, he's a cancer survivor who fought a silent battle for his health. He's a hunter who had to face the humbling experience of a public legal challenge. And most importantly, he's a grandfather whose heart aches every day as he watches his infant grandson fight for his life. These struggles have revealed the true measure of the man. They've shown that beneath that rugged exterior is a person of incredible strength, deep family loyalty, and amazing resilience. Troy Landry's toughest battles haven't been against gators, but against the silent forces of disease, scrutiny, and fear. Through it all, he has not only endured but has continued to lead his family with a courage that is truly inspiring. The King of the Swamp's greatest legacy may not be the number of tags he fills, but the strength he shows when the hunt is over.